I've got a friend that I met my last semester in school. When I was first introduced to him, he told me he really liked to make pancakes. He's been making them for over 500 days in a row. I thought I could make him something to show them off a little more, so I'm making a rotating platform, without power tools. For this project, I'll be using a 1/2 inch quarter sheet of plywood, cut for me for free at Home Depot. With this design, I can make one long cut to get most of the frame cut to the correct width. Since I'm working with hand tools, I'll need to square up the edge along my line. For this, I'll be using another piece of scrap wood held down with 2 clamps to keep it in place. I'll use this as a guide to make a straight line with my saw. The miter saw that I have has a lip on the front edge, making it hard to cut all the way through the wood. I used a coping saw to cut the rest of the way through. This didn't leave a very straight line, so I ground some of the wood on the pavement to make it a little nicer. Now I can draw my shapes after measuring. I can cut out the pieces that I need using my miter box. I'm choosing to make 45 and 90-degree cuts on these pieces because that's easiest with the miter box that I have, and the width that I chose for the wood fits in the miter box without any hassle. Now that some of the pieces are cut out, it's time to begin drilling holes that will be going into the frame for the electronics and motor. Using a piece of paper, I poked holes into the motor mounts and then transfer them onto the wood. While the drill is a very common power tool that's easily affordable, I use the drill in my logo, so using one now is out of the question. I have a manual hand drill, and it's easy to make holes using this tool. I'll need 2 holes on the front face for the turntable control, 4 on the top for the motor mounts, and 1 where the turntable attaches to the motor shaft. I didn't plan the width of the wood correctly, so I had to drill out more wood on the backside to make room for the component on the inside. It's not pretty, but it won't be seen. The circuit essentially uses 5 components. The schematic is shown here. Now this circuit needs to be soldered together with the soldering iron. I understand that a soldering iron is a tool that needs electricity to work, but I don't think that it's quite a power tool. Power tools make a job that is hard to do by hand much easier with electrical assistance. With a soldering iron, there's no alternative. After testing the circuit, it's time to begin gluing the frame together. It's not easy to glue these edges together with the look that I want, so I'm making a jig to hold the wood better. I had to be creative with this glue up, since 45-degree angles aren't exactly easy to clamp together. I also wanted the top to be removable, so I needed to add a slot to the top piece. I wasn't sure how to do this, but it ended up working out. After the jig was done, I glued it up to the support piece on the front face using a lot of clamps. While that's drying, it's time to design the actual turntable top. I wanted to make a circular one, but since I don't have the tools to cut a circle out of wood at my disposal, I decided to make an octagon. All I had to do was measure the 4 corners and cut the shape right. Now that the support is dry, it's time to glue up the rest of the enclosure. I needed to cut another lone piece for the sides, made much easier by the appropriate saw this time. I cut one piece, measured, and made a 45-degree cut to get 2 identical pieces. I glued them to the rest of the box, making sure to fill the gaps up along the way with extra glue. I also placed some epoxy on the circuit and the power plug to keep them held in place. I fitted the Allen wrench with some shrink wrap so it won't short the circuit on the inside. Now it has a perfect place to be stored. To attach the turntable to the shaft extension, I used epoxy and let it dry for a good 24 hours. Afterwards, it was perfectly balanced. I gave the whole machine a quick test, and then it was time for lots of sanding, and finally, moving on to finishing. I decided to go with dark Danish oil because I wanted to show off the wood in the design. I think that it turned out pretty great. I'd like to take the time to show you my friend Josh's Instagram page. It's filled with amazing pancakes of all shapes and sizes. He's got everything. Candy-coated pancakes, breakfast cereal pancakes, ice cream pancakes, fruit-infused pancakes. He's even got a pancake burger bun. Check out his page for so much more. I can't wait to see pancakes on this turntable. They'll look delicious from every angle. This was a challenging build, because the design that I made used angles that were hard to work with, but it made the project so much more rewarding. I'm very pleased with how this turntable turned out, and I can't wait to see it showing off some delicious pancakes. Thanks for watching.